Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy in Comics. I'm your host, Kevin, and I appreciate you tuning in. This is Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 5/27/2026. Appreciate each and every single one of you that cruises on through. And for those of you that cruise on in the live, let's take a moment and say hi. How you doing, Las Cruces? I appreciate you, buddy. Hope your night's going well, and I hope your day is going to go even better. Let's start it off with Marvel Studios. Hey, look at that. How you doing, Ian? How you doing, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Let's cruise over and let's talk a few books over at Marvel Studios. Marvel's going to first bring to us Amazing Spider-Man Spider-Verse issue number 2. This is a story that I've been long waiting for as far as the series is concerned. This is something I talked to Jordan Morris, the writer, about. He's been writing a few stories for Marvel now. I think this is around his fourth one. I really been digging what he does. He's been doing a few other projects as far as writing and other, um, yeah, my brain went away, publishers are concerned. What I really dig about this writer is he doesn't not only take himself too seriously, but some of the stories in which that he takes on, he knows that he's not supposed to take on in a way in which that it's supposed to take the character too seriously or the circumstance. I like how he's presenting himself, meaning Jordan, as far as a writer, and his ability to be able to not only tell a story, but tell it in a way that not only keeps the reader interested in the story and slightly compelled, but moreover, he knows how to tell a story that gets the story across, regardless if you like how it's written, where the story was going, or anything else. I look forward to not only reading this story in particular, but more projects from Jordan in the future. Amazing Spider-Man Spider-Verse issue number 2 coming out tomorrow on 5/27/2026. What you got going on there? Really? Well, look at you go. All right, hey, let's cruise out from Amazing Spider-Man Spider-Verse issue number 2 and talk about Infernal Hulk issue number 7. I've really been digging this series. Everything that's been going on in this series, in the past series. I am one issue back. I like the fact that Charlie's reintroduced into the series. I the fact that the X-Men are thrown in there and they couldn't even take on the Hulk, let alone this Infernal version. This is awesome. And it's a hot mess all rolled into one. I'm looking for Banner to make a return, and I'm curious to see how all this plays out. Infernal Hulk, issue number 7. This series can't be any better, in my opinion. And if you're a Hulk fan whatsoever, jump on board, grab a trade, and issue number 7 comes out tomorrow, so you won't be that far behind. Let's cruise over from that, Infernal Hulk, issue number 7, to talk about Ultimates, issue number 24. This wraps it up as far as the Ultimates is concerned. That doesn't mean that this whole Ultimate story is ended. As I said before, and I'll be saying it a little bit later, this was actually a lead into what is to transpire down the road. We do get this Ultimate Endgame stuff going on, and aside from that, this is also leading into all the Miles Morales stuff going on and the new characters that are coming about. There's so much going on, and I knew it was going to be happening. Really, what we're getting in this whole Ultimate Universe is really unfolding, not ending. And even though we're getting an ending of an issue, meaning the Ultimates issue number 24, essentially it's a beginning, beautifully tied up in a little package, but also delivered to us in a way that's going to go ahead and open up a whole new future for the Marvel Universe. Let's move out from Marvel and cruise over to Image. Image Studio is going to first bring us Escape, issue number 7. I really been loving this series. Rick Remender's been digging this whole, how should I say it? This veteran way of viewing a war, but on multiple sides, both as an individual on the wrong side of the firing lines, meaning as far as the skirmish is concerned, but also on the wrong side of individuals that just want to do the right thing, saving a downed pilot. Beyond that, an enemy per se. But when you're not in the war, are you really an enemy regardless of who you help? Because you just try to help humanity. It's a really interesting story, and you see some desperations going on for obvious reasons, an individual behind enemy lines. But when it's told in this anamorphic way, it does reduce some of the, how should I say, reality horrors that would normally be associated with a story like this, being that it's told through like I said, animals. But it also doesn't diminish some of the things that transpire in the story when you do realize that life is life. And this is just a way to go ahead and diffuse the story just a little, to go ahead and allow you to go ahead and put in place what you want. I really dig the way Rick comes across the story, and I really just can't get enough. I reading everything he's writing of late, and this is just another fine story that he's been writing of late. Escape issue number 7. I believe it might be like a 10-issue series. Actually, I guess they would call that. And it's ramping up heavily. It's awesome. Moving out from the Escape issue number 7, let's talk about Feral issue number 23. I am behind a few issues on some of the things. This Feral, I got to catch up on issue number 21. And I talked to Tony Fleeks, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. And I asked, I go, dude, what are you going with this as far as bringing in the stray dogs? You're not going to off these dogs, not you bring them into the story, are you? And he's like, oh, yeah, every single one of them. I'm like, dude, seriously, I got a relationship with these things. He just kind of looked up at me, smiled, and said, nah, man, he also did tell me that he has a long run going on for this story. It sounded like to me nothing short of 50 issues. So we'll see where this goes from here. I really been digging Feral. If you're a fan of anything close to like The Walking Dead, or if you read anything past of what he has done as far as Stray Dogs, or even what did he do, that whole Venom, Venom War, Wolverine. He's done so many things in the past. And yeah, obviously the My Little Pony stuff. So he has a gambit that he can cover, and it does come across in his storytelling. When it's presented one way, it's also depicted another. You get a bottom line story of another, and it's just the way it all ends up is a presentation of a Disney-esque horror that is nothing you've ever read before. Feral issue number 23 coming out on 5/27/2026. Let's move out from Feral and talk about Hyde Street issue number 12. What I really been digging about Hyde Street is initially it was presented but never portrayed or even really kind of given an opening now that it has from issue number 10. And what I mean by that is I was talking to Jeff Johns, and I was telling him how much I really enjoyed High Street for the dichotomy of not only the characters that are introduced, but how opposite sometimes they are, and how that really complements not only the storytelling that is in High Street, but it allows the characters themselves that are also within the Hyde Street main character line to have direct opposition with one another. It's a very interesting story, and how it's told is in this very Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark style manner. And of late, even Jeff Johns has made this style of comparison when doing an interview. And this is something I even made mention to him, even before I ever heard the public statement of this, that was one of the things that I most enjoyed about how he was telling the story, is in this Tales from the Dark, or a very Rod Serling style. Well, as of issue 10, and I don't recall of anything before, which I'm going to start looking, page number 1 now presents itself in that very way of a Rod Serling style opening. I really dig it. I love Hyde Street. It's an amazing story of how a person can be allured to their own most deepest, I guess, evil temptations, and sometimes because some succumb to them. It doesn't seem like it's the first time, and they end up on Hyde Street for a reason. It's what you probably would imagine from a Tales from the Dark style or a Twilight Zone style story, and it just keeps getting better and better because of the story line characters that are involved also play a major role in the story underlining what you get is a sublining story that I just mentioned. I know it sounds a little confusing, but when you start reading it, it starts becoming very clear. High Street issue number 12 coming out on 5/27, 2026. So let's move on from that and cruise over to the Seasons issue number 10. This is another one, I believe, a recommender book. Yeah, I'm almost positive. And yeah, I'm way behind. I do like how this macabre fantasy horror carnival storyline comes across. It's a story of a girl born to a family of detectives in this fantasy world style setting where her family becomes missing, and she's the only one that can solve the mystery of where did her mother and father go, and why doesn't even her family, rest of her sisters, even know where they're at. Summer's looking for everybody. Winter can't give a shit, and it seems like a lot of what's been going on is everyone is being a little under the spell of the carnival themselves. The Seasons is a story of temptation also, and it seems that only Summer is the one that can break the spell. Seasons issue number 10 coming out on 5/27, 2026. Let's move on from that and talk about Universal Monsters, The Phantom of the Opera, issue number 4. I believe this wraps it up for that series. And as an individual that comes from the sets, the studios, the film, the stage industry myself, this one hits deeply into the heart. I worked at many other plays and at one of the main places in which that the original Phantom of the Opera was shot. I really love this story and how it's being um, not only written, but I like the art, how you really can just get immersed and it's very dark. It brings you in, and I believe it's Simmons that's doing the work. Allows you to fill in the gaps in some of the stuff as he famously does in a lot of the books that he's done with Tanyan and just a lot of the horror that he's done. He knows how to go ahead and give you enough art to go ahead and tell you what's going on, but allow you to kind of sometimes fill in the gaps for yourself, much like in like Department of Truth and stuff, to where you know things are going on, but you faintly can only see it. It allows you to, again, in a Hitchcock type manner, with your own imagination, kind of fill in those gaps. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Phantom of the Opera, issue number 4. Can't wait to get that one in my hands, but didn't make my blue light special. Let's move on from that and talk about Void Rivals, issue number 30. I've been saying this for over a year now. The whole Transformers, Void Rivals, and G.I. Joe now is all set up for what's going on to be told as this multi-layered, multi-crossover storyline that is the Energon universe. All we're going to get from here is a little bit more one-shots, a couple of little mini-series to fill in some gaps. But really what we're getting is you're going to get Void Rivals going to end up on Earth. You're going to end up seeing them over on Cybertron. Eventually, we're going to see more Cybertronian type stuff happening over. Yeah, it's just going to be this multi crossover thing, and it's happening as we see it with Void Rivals. We're ending with a war that was going on that we thought it was going to end, 5 issues ago, and the way I believe it's going to end up is really just a launching of this multi crossover that we're going to see. Can't wait to get into it. But however, that stated, that did not make my blue light special this week. It is Exquisite Corpses, issue number 13. Yeah, for those of you that know me, you probably kind of guessed. Exquisite Corpses has been, well, I think this is probably the 4th blue light special it's made it in the 13 issues that it's come out. Now that it's hit a little over a year, this thing is so solid. I have to say there's times that I'm a little critical of Tynion's type stuff, Tynion's type writing. he definitely does a great introduction of characters and storylines. Not always, in my opinion, does he nail that landing. In the case of this, I'm looking for a pretty good ending. At the same point, I kind of already know where it is. We kind of got a, I think it was an issue at 7 or 8. We kind of saw that what was possibly going to end up happening. I think I know what's going to end up, how this thing's going to end. Cool thing is we're going to get 3 more storylines, miniseries are going to come after this. And it's already been stated that this is only one of another storyline that's going to be coming out, meaning we're going to get another Exquisite Corpse series 2. I mean, this is only something that happens every 5 years. We're not even solid on what year this takes place, I believe. It doesn't seem like it's right now. It seems close, but I don't know. All I'm saying is Exquisite Corpses issue number 13 is a solid read, and if you haven't already, I highly recommend jump on that trade. There's going to be more to come, and it's if you're into that horror, last man standing, what is that? A battle royale style storyline of individuals that are basically fighting to take control for 5 years. That kind of transpires in the United States and thus throughout the world as far as economic and some of the black markets are concerned. That's what the story is about. It's all out horror, gore, murder, and just awesomeness. For those of you that came on in, hey, Jag, no, just you showing up is on time. I appreciate you. Ian, as always, Las Cruces. Thank you very much. And any of you that may have cruised on through and I have missed, I appreciate you truly. And hey, that's it for me. Entropy. Take care.